blow for the Golden State Warriors ahead of a new NBA season. That's after its players Draymond Green and Jordan Poole figured in a fight during practice. Now, can this affect the Dubs and their bid to win back-to-back titles? Well, let's find out. And joining us right now for an all-out discussion is who else but sports writer Josh Planos, always looking sharp. There he is. He's joining us live, not from Nebraska, but he's in Fort Lauderdale in Florida in the U.S. Hi, buddy. Good evening to you, man.
Hey, Andre. Nice to see you again.
Congratulations to you. I got to see you live on a TV show there. You're making the rounds, man. Big time.
Hey, it's congratulations to you, I think, are in order for you and Pauline.
Thanks, man. Well, let's talk NBA. We've seen this ugly mess on social media within the Warriors camp unfold with that video leaking of Draymond apparently throwing a punch on Jordan Poole. Reports say now apparently Draymond has apologized since this incident, as we can see. And Jordan Poole, apparently he did show attitude problems. There was a report, but Stephen Curry even went out to deny that, because Jordan Poole was, he's about to close on a lucrative extension deal. What do you think, from your perspective? I'm sure you're hearing things, so I'm not hearing, but what do you think really happened, and how would you assess everything that has transpired in the past few days or week or so?
Well, I think it's more of the same from Draymond, who's very comfortable going right up to that edge on any topic or situation, on or off the court. That being said, we haven't heard of him going to this extreme with physical violence. Anytime that enters the picture, it becomes very difficult to not provide some sort of punitive measure from the team perspective, because he put his teammate in harm's way, right? He physically injured him. We have video evidence of that happening. In Chicago a few years back, Nikola Mirotic was hospitalized after an incident in practice with Bobby Portis. Mm-hmm. We never saw the video of that, but that alone gave Portis an 8-game suspension. So considering that we have the video that was released, I think we can conservatively estimate that Draymond could miss the first month of the season. I think the sanctions will be that significant. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be water under the bridge in no time in the locker room, just because locker rooms move past things like this all the time. But because we have the physical evidence of it, it becomes very difficult for the NBA mm-hmm. to sweep it under the rug. So mm-hmm. It remains to be seen. I'm sure that, ego drove a lot of it, but you still can't put your hands on a teammate like that.
Yeah. Well, Iguodala, one of the veteran leaders of this team, did speak out on Twitter. And then Draymond also apologized, as I mentioned. And then there were reports also that came out, I believe that was yesterday, that Jordan Poole did say that he hasn't talked to Draymond yet and he hasn't forgiven Draymond. So do you see, you said locker rooms, they move past this, but do you see this affecting the Warriors' chemistry? And what's the next step? Like, if you're Golden State management, how do you deal with this if you're trying to go back-to-back? You have a good team intact. You still have the Splash Brothers there, Steph and Clay, Jordan Poole obviously emerging as that young star that he is. And then Draymond still, he's one of the leaders as well. So where do the Warriors go from here, and will it affect them drastically for this long season?
Well, the first thing you do is you sign Jordan Poole. Not just because of what happened, but because he has earned his money. Mm-hmm. This is a 9-figure salary that he is going to be entering into. He's been waiting his whole life for this moment, right? It's always the second contract that's really the most significant for NBA players, when you're able to change not just your life, but your family's life forever. This is generational wealth we're talking about. So the minute you can sign Jordan Poole, I think he'll feel a little bit better about the situation. But of course, there are additional steps that need to be taken to remedy the situation. You get him and Draymond in a room together with Bob Myers, with Steve Kerr, with Steph Curry. You put, everything out there on the table and say, the most important thing right now is that we're trying to chase a championship. And either you can look past what happened or you can't, but we need to know now, because we need to know if you're going to be committed to us, to this organization, to the championship aspirations that everybody in this city has. So, and I think a lot of that will be taken care of with the money. But of course, taking that additional measure once Draymond returns to the team and getting everybody into the room where you have to address the elephant in it, I think is going to be the most significant step.
Well, you do sound like, it seems to me, sounds like Jordan Poole at this point is more of an asset. Well, Draymond has proven his worth, but it sounds to me like Draymond is more dispensable at this point. So if you were Bob Myers, would you let go of Jordan Poole more? I mean, of Draymond Green more or Jordan Poole? But I think I know the answer to that question already.
It's difficult, right? Draymond's been there for the championships. There's an argument to be made that they do not win these championships without Draymond. Mm-hmm. He is a significant piece of the puzzle. Of course, Jordan Poole is the shinier object, right? He's the younger guy. He's the flashier guy. I think you need both to win a championship. Mm-hmm. I think if you're talking about most dispensable right now, it's probably Draymond, just because there are issues with his stamina, certainly with his poise, not just in the locker room, but out of the locker room. And that's why you have James Wiseman kind of waiting in the wings to take over that role. You've got Kevon Looney. You've got people who can kind of solidify that back line, whereas you really don't have anybody who can come in off the bench and be your second unit the way you can with Poole will probably end up starting anyway, but I do think that Draymond is the more dispensable one right now, not least of which is because he seemingly can't keep his head on straight for consistent periods of time.
Well, we have roughly 4 minutes and a half left on the show. I want to still talk to you about, because there were reports also Luka wanting to make a trade for Dallas to get Draymond, and then there are also reports that he's going to the Lakers. But we'll talk more about the Warriors next time you're here on the show. From the Dubs, let's go to Zion, though, quickly. He looks fit. He looks ready to ball out. Zion 2.0 this season, and he's excited to show his game has evolved. He was even quoted saying that he would be showing some things in his arsenal that people haven't seen before. And now, hopefully, he'll play a healthy season alongside C.J. McCollum, whom the Pels secured in a trade midseason, and then they still have Brandon Ingram. Where do you see the Pels go, and do you see Zion playing the whole 82, the full season? And will that pan out well with C.J. McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson as your trio in New Orleans?
Well, to start, I think this could be a top 5 seed in the conference. I think they're that good. Their ceiling is that high. For all the talk, right, about Zion's physique, his motivation on the court, we're talking about a player who's historically good in the time that he played, right? He's the first player of the shot clock era to average 23 or more points a game on 60% shooting over his first 50 games of a career. He was phenomenal when he was actually on the court. So, with him in the fold, we just saw the Pelicans basically come within, a couple of plays here and there of beating Phoenix in the playoffs last year without him. Nobody expected them to be in the playoffs at all, considering what they went through with injuries. So this team could be scary good with Zion back on the court, not least of which because he doesn't need to play point guard anymore. They've actually solidified that situation with CJ, with their backups as well. So Zion can really be freed up to do what he does best, which is, be the quickest man up on the glass, probably in NBA history. I mean, he's got the fastest second jump we've probably ever seen, and he can stretch the floor. So I'm really excited to see him back in the fold. The NBA is better off when he's on the court. So I wouldn't say I'm terribly confident that he's going to be on the floor for all 82 games, but the NBA would be better off with him out there.
Let's go east. Brooklyn. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving deciding to stay after all that drama. Then you have Ben Simmons. We still don't know if he has that jump shot. There were video that circulated that he missed a jump shot in Brooklyn in that practice and that training. Do you think, consider everything, if Ben Simmons will play the whole 82, he's healthy, Kyrie is not crazy, KD will be playing the whole season, do you think the Nets are a legit contender?
I do. I believe in Brooklyn. I think there's a part of my brain that is screaming, this doesn't make sense. They don't have any defense. They're going to take possessions off. But I believe in Ben Simmons. I think that he's heard everything that we've said about him for the past 15 months, and I think he's ready to ball out. I think he makes perfect sense given what their needs are, and I'm really excited to see Brooklyn dominate this year.
Quickly, give me 30 seconds if you can do it. 40 seconds. Your thoughts on Victor Wembanyama, man? That kid, LeBron said he's not a unicorn, he's an alien. Your thoughts on that kid?
He's the best prospect since LeBron, without question. The floor for this guy is Kristaps Porzingis. That's the absolute worst that this guy could be in the NBA. And that would be exceptional, right? There would be teams that'd be lining up down the block to have his services. We've never seen somebody of his size with that shooting ability, with that ball handling ability. It's going to change the game of basketball, seeing him in the NBA.
Well, thank you again for your time. I wish we had a full hour with Josh Planos, because I know you and I can talk NBA, talk a lot of things about that as well. Thank you again for joining us, buddy. Stay safe there in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we'll be talking to you again soon when the NBA season starts. That was sports writer Josh Planos coming to us live from Fort Lauderdale in Florida in the United States. Thank you, Josh. And